Hey guys, how's it going? So I hope everyone's where you are. This video is about neurodiversity, and hopefully, and anyone who's interested in neurodiversity will hopefully be interested in this video. Neurodiversity, for those who don't know what that means, is basically neuro means brain, I think, and diversity obviously means diverse. So it's like people with dyslexia, ADHD, dyspraxia, autism, and conditions like that, obviously Asperger's and things like that. So this is a video about the positive sides of such conditions. So I'm thinking of. I've got to admit, it's not research I've done personally myself. It's research. It's secondary research, if you like. So it's basically what information I've got from other sources. For instance, Made by Dyslexia, Dyslexic Advantage, the Yale Center for Dyslexia and Creativity, Understood, and other organizations like that mainly. And I suppose there's similar organizations for people with ADHD or autism or neurodiversity generally. And I would love to look into what strengths we have, which I know there's been a lot of research into what strengths we have, like innovation, creativity, intuition or whatever, and things like that. So basically, I made some videos a while back about investors coming together and investing in different things. And one of the things I would love for them to invest in is basically neurodiverse people. And one project idea I have is for developing countries, like countries across Asia and Africa, as well as countries that are colonized, like Ireland generally as well, and basically developing countries to come together, what I call the six, as I mentioned before as well, to learn about neurodiversity and what strengths we have, and what we could do to help those countries to grow faster economically, and things like that, and what strengths we have, basically, out of the box thinking and things like that. So normally when people think of neurodiverse conditions, they normally think of a negative thing, like being bad at school or being weak in areas, or being slow or things like that. So I'm trying to make a positive spin, and I'm not the only one who's doing that. But so I hope to connect together the organisations which are trying to work on that sort of thing. Like Exceptional Individuals is another good source, which is on YouTube, and I think have their own website. Sorry. But yeah, so I hope to encourage countries like India and Nigeria and countries across Africa and Asia and places like that. So I would kill two birds with one stone, basically, because I as an anti-imperialist, I would love to support countries that were colonized. And I think starting with young people, to encouraging them, people who might not be that good academically, to see what sort of things they are good at. And I'd also love to encourage, so that's one of my project ideas, but I'd also love to encourage people like Bill Gates or Warren Buffett or Ray Dalio, or basically organizations like maybe even BlackRock, Bridgewater, Berkshire Hathaway, Cascade Investments, and other such investors and big portfolio organizations, even the P.I.F, Public Investment Fund of Saudi Arabia, possibly to learn about dyslexia and learn about the positive side. So I'd love to, I suppose step one for that idea would be to get together organizations like Made by Dyslexia, Dyslexic Advantage, and others, as many organizations that work with dyslexia and neurodiversity generally. I decided to expand to cover not just dyslexia but other neurodiverse conditions, to talk about our strengths. But yeah, so step one would be to get those organizations together who have done the research, and know about the positive sides of dyslexia, bring them together as like one sort of group, and get them to write to, perhaps, or communicate with, in the best possible way, organizations like, I say, like investment companies, portfolios, and things like Bridgewater, Cascade Investments, Berkshire Hathaway, and other investors, the P.I.F and others, perhaps even around the world, to invest in dyslexics, maybe even to pool their money together. Maybe there could be like a legal right to pool their money together, whereas normally there would be rules against it, like anti-monopolization rules. But if they invest in dyslexics, especially dyslexics from poorer backgrounds who haven't achieved success, or are struggling, like to get jobs or things like that, to to invest in small dyslexic business owners, or to invest in dyslexic people to set up their own businesses and things like that. I'd be very excited about that prospect. It's one of the ideas I'm most excited about, perhaps. And I talked before about dyslexic billionaires or neurodiverse billionaires generally, like a network for them, and even Asperger's billionaires or people like that, or millionaires and billionaires. And I think it'd be cool also on that note to say going back to my first idea, which was about supporting developing countries, I think it'd be great to showcase what neurodiverse people could do. So I'd love for a neurodiverse billionaires network, including obviously dyslexics and ADHDers, as I call them, i.e. people with ADHD, as well as Asperger's or autism, who are millionaires or even billionaires in some cases, or just entrepreneurs generally, but especially millionaires and billionaires who have the access, the networks, and the money and resources to make that change. From a selfish point of view, I would love for them to invest in Italian football, and hopefully that will show people in Italy specifically what dyslexic people, neurodiverse people generally can do, as well as like what we can do in sports itself, like what we could do on the pitch. Hopefully it will show what we can do off the pitch and what we have achieved, and hopefully other countries will see that and say that, well, dyslexic people do actually, and people with ADHD and other conditions do have strengths which they can contribute, and I think it'd be pretty amazing for them to see that. And also for developing countries, I say I mainly wish to focus on investing in developing countries. Anyway, I hope this video makes sense. It's just an idea I was passionate about, and I thought I'd upload a video. If you have any questions or queries, or if there's any difference between those things, or anything you want to comment, please don't hesitate to post them in the comments below, what you think of these ideas. So basically, I suppose it's two ideas really. One is to encourage investors, maybe even entire governments, but especially investors like sovereign wealth funds like the P.I.F and those organizations I mentioned, and investors to invest in neurodiverse people, including dyslexics, people with ADHD, ADHDers and whatnot. And the second idea is to show what dyslexic people can do from a selfish point of view for Italian football and Celtic, and from a less selfish point of view, what we can do for developing countries. And I am out. Peace and love.